Now that the landcruiser is running again, as you can imagine, I'm very eager to put more miles on it, test it out, and take this thing out on some adventures. Today, we'll be driving hundreds of miles in the landcruiser, exploring this area surrounded by rugged yet beautiful wilderness, check out some scenic routes and historic sites, and meet some good people. Stay tuned. It's 7:30 in the morning. Casey and I are headed up into the mountains. We're taking a weekend trip out to Stanley, Idaho to meet up with some of his friends, go camping and wheeling and just adventure out there. I've never been there before, so I don't really know what to expect, but I do know it's already pretty cold here, and it's supposed to be like 22 degrees tonight there. So it's going to be pretty chilly, but it should be a lot of fun, a lot of good experiences, meeting new people, checking out new areas.
So is this your first time going this way up into Stanley?
I've been on this road before, but our cutoff coming up, the 17, I've never been up the 17 before.
Yeah, I was looking at it on the map and it looks like we're going to be going through a lot of mountain passes. There's not really a direct way there.
Yep, we're going through a canyon. I've heard no cell phone service pretty much. Actually, if we have some now, I'd be surprised, but pretty much the rest of the way there almost. We won't have cell service.
We are now 57 miles away from Stanley. The views and everything have completely changed to these expansive, just forest views everywhere. It's beautiful out here. So I think the deeper we get into the Boise forest and the more we see, the closer we get to Stanley, things are going to start to really change and the scenery should just be epic. Since moving here, the people that I've met have told me if I want the weather to change, just come back in 5 minutes. They're not lying.
This is an epic drive so far.
You're gonna have to come up here with the bikes and explore. We started making our way up the trail to a fire lookout tower, and the views did not disappoint. So I'm up here today with all these Willies wagons. So we got this one here in really good shape. This is all original, restored. This one here is my neighbor's. This is a TJ frame.
So it's coil and everything, and then it has the Willies wagon body on it. As you can see here, this thing's pretty slick. Then we have this blue one over here, which has a small block Chevy in it. Otherwise looks pretty stock to me, still on leaf springs as well. Then I'm over here, just the black sheep. And we got one more over here. It's a Wrangler. I don't know what kind of Wrangler. I'm not a Jeep guy. Maybe you can let me know. Is it a JK? I have no idea. So we made our way up to this fire lookout. It has some pretty cool views. There's a campsite out here too with these, I don't know what these are, maybe cabins or something. This one on the side has like a twin bed frame in it, but pretty cool views here from this campsite. And just checking this cabin. I don't know what they used this for. I don't know if this was like a sleeping quarter or a small outhouse or something. I really have no idea. Looks like maybe they hung art or decorations off of that. And then this one's a little bit bigger. So this one has an actual bed frame in it, which is interesting if you guys can see that. And then, yeah, the same thing, little nails up there, maybe to hang stuff. We got the fire lookout up there, a little outhouse over here. Don't think they use that anymore. This thing looks like it might be original. It doesn't look like it's been redone or restored or anything. Yeah, I don't know if this thing is in service anymore. I don't really see a way to get in. Most of the time, these fire lookouts, you can take a look inside, but this one's all boarded up. Casey said he found something interesting, so if I can get down here without breaking my ankle, we'll see what it is. What'd you find?
Rocks.
Oh, I thought you found something special. You just found more rocks?
Well, I mean, how special is a rock that's shaped like a half a bowl with another rock that goes right in it?
That is cool. Erosion. Or aliens.
Aliens. My vote is aliens.
That is really interesting.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool. It's really difficult to get footage when you're out on a trip like this with other people that you don't really know very well, and you don't want to inconvenience their trip by putting a tripod down, driving past it, running back, picking it up, and basically delaying everybody else just for a YouTube video. So what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna put my GoPro on the back of one of these Jeeps. Maybe we can get some footage of the landcruiser that way. Otherwise, I don't really see much opportunity to get footage on my main camera here, unfortunately. The trail continued past the fire lookout, so of course we decided to keep going and figure out what was at the end. Boy, did you make that look easy. Wow. This is quite the campsite, huh?
It would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Stay and let them go.
Dude, this is crazy. That was a very cool campsite. We'll definitely have to go back sometime and camp there. Fortunately, we couldn't stay there tonight, so we're heading back the way we came from. Get out of this trail and get some dinner. Whoa, and then find camp. All right, we just got to camp and it's dark now. We went out and had dinner. This is my little self-inflating pad that I got. It goes to 4 inches thick and it's actually pretty cool. Casey's over here working on the diesel heater setup, so he's trying to keep his son quiet. This mad scientist has come up with this creation right here. So this shelf slides onto his slider and then we have the diesel heater. We have a T. It's going to go into my vent over here. It goes into his Jeep through the side of the body right here. It's actually pretty smart. So mine is not as smart. It is going to use, let me walk around over here. Mine was kind of a last minute decision. We have this piece of cardboard and it's going to fit into the window. And we're going to cut a hole in it and we're going to route that duct into the cab of the landcruiser. Good morning. It is currently 8:25. You can see we got some frost on the hood. It's still pretty cold outside, but honestly, probably the best night's sleeping I've ever had while camping. The diesel heater worked extremely well, plus I had 3 blankets and I was in a sleeping bag, so it was really warm and toasty in here. Casey already left to meet with the rest of the group to go get breakfast, so I'm gonna meet up with them now, and then we're gonna go hit up some more trails today. We are currently at the Salmon River, part of it. It's a very large river. This is starting to become more of a sightseeing trip than a hardcore off-road wheeling trip, but I'm okay with it. This is beautiful. This is amazing scenery. It's nice to take it all in. And I don't know if you guys can hear that roar of that river. Let me flip the camera around and show you what I'm seeing. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. We'll have to find some campsites out here in the future. Shortly after getting back onto the road, we turned off onto this path which led us to the Yankee Fork gold dredge. All of these mounds of gravel and rocks you're seeing along the sides of this dirt road are dredge tailings from what we're about to go check out. So this is a dredge. I didn't even know what that was until we got here. I was talking to one of the guys in the group and he was saying this thing moved all along the valley and it dredged out these rocks from the bottom of the stream and it basically sifted for gold. So you can see here it's kind of hard to believe that this thing moves, but you can see they ceased operations in 1947 and eventually they determined that they had a challenge with the bedrock, and then you can see here it says it was moved to its present location in 1953. So this thing's been sitting there for a long time. Let's go check it out. Kind of looks like the way this works. I'm thinking that's like the water level right there. There's almost like a saw blade that comes down and cuts the bottom of that stream. And somehow they're collecting that and then sifting through it for gold. Maybe they're doing that over here. I'm not too sure. So they talk about how it works right here. They said it had a chain of 71 buckets. So this actual thing that I thought was a saw, it has buckets that I think pick up rocks. It says the pins holding them together weigh 195 pounds. It's powered by an electric motor, and essentially it can be raised and lowered. Let's go check that thing out. It's right here. All right, so I'm pretty sure these scooped up the rocks. So you can see it has a bunch of rocks in this bucket right here. And then I think they would just sift through that and then find gold. This thing is absolutely massive. I'm not sure how they moved it all around the valley, but they did. I mean, you can see we have people right here. Look how big that thing is compared to them. How are they moving this thing up and down? That's crazy. So this thing was only operated by 3 people. There was a guy up there, there was a guy down here, and there was a guy over here. I've been walking around and reading all these signs and it makes it all make a lot more sense. So you see we have 3 people that operated this thing. The first guy was the winchman, and he basically could control the dredge. And then the second guy, he cared for the 2 Ingersoll Rand diesel electric units. And then there was a stern oiler who looked after the rotary screen and the stacker. So this part and this part are called the tail sluices, and these apparently wash the gold from the rocks, something like 8,400 gallons a minute. And this thing's called the stacker, and it took all of the remaining gravel and just kind of shot it out behind the dredge. I'm not really clear how some rocks got here and some got there, but they did. And apparently this thing just had this violent ejection of gravel out the back of it, and then all the rest of it that had the gold got sorted out in this area, according to these signs I've been reading. All right, so we have Casey here, who is our resident Gold Rush expert from the show Gold Rush. That's where he gets his knowledge from.
I sit on my butt a lot and watch TV.
And he knows how this all works, and he knows how they moved it. So,
right. So how they moved it is first they dig giant holes, put dams up, and flood the area that they want to mine. They'd fill it full of water. It would float around, and they'd control it with these cables from the side, and they'd have winches on board that moves the whole dredge side to side. It's got a bucket line at the front, and the bucket line is what digs up all the rock all the way down the bedrock. And on the inside, they've got what's called a trommel, and the trommel is like this big giant wheel thing that spins around, makes a ton of noise, separates the rock sizes. So the smalls go down the small sluices, and the big stuff gets shot up the back. I think Ricky just shot your video of that.
Sorry, I'm just cracking up because he actually knows a lot about this thing from that show.
Okay, so the big stuff gets shot up, and that's what all these tailing piles are around here. They're called tailings, and that's the larger rock that doesn't fit through the trommel that gets sorted out. So all the smalls go down the sluices, and that's where your gold is.
I didn't expect so much knowledge to be dropped on us right now, but yeah, that's how this thing works. We just stopped at some little mining town. They have a rock crusher over there and some other interesting things. And now we're going to head off to an old abandoned mine. Apparently they haven't been to this mine in the last 20 years, so we don't really know what to expect, if it's even still there. But we're going to go head that way and see what it looks like today. There are 21 million acres of forest land here, and we're only seeing a small fraction of it right now in this video. I cannot wait to keep exploring out here. Well, as you guys can see, the landcruiser is there and the mine is over there. I didn't even realize we passed it until they told me that we're already past the mine. When I think about it now, there was a road that was kind of going that way that was closed when we passed it. That would have taken us up to the mine. We could have checked it out, but they don't allow any visitor access there. So now Casey and I are up here. It's about 2 in the afternoon. We got a 4-hour drive back home, so we're probably going to head back down the hill. There are just miles and miles of trails out here, and this was a perfect opportunity to test out the landcruiser even more. So in the last episode we did the shakedown run, and this one I've driven it hundreds of miles with no issues at all. In fact, I almost slipped right there, but in fact it's done an excellent job. There's been no problems. The suspension's flexing really well. The tires are performing excellently. I would really like to have lockers, as I keep saying, but you know, this kind of stuff doesn't warrant lockers. It's very easy, but just to have it out here in these conditions, we're doing a lot of switchbacks. There's a lot of uphill, a lot of downhill. The brakes haven't failed. The engine hasn't failed. The cooling system's doing good. Everything is a-okay with the rebuild, and the landcruiser is just performing exceptionally well. So we're definitely gonna have to come back out here, find some awesome campsites. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of cool places to camp out here, so we're definitely gonna have to come back out. But yeah, as I said, we're gonna head back down the hill and get ready to pack up and leave because it's getting late and we have a pretty long drive back home. Spent 2 days, a couple hundred miles, good test for the landcruiser. The trails weren't that hard, but they were a lot of fun, and the people were great that we got to meet. Very beautiful area. What'd you think, Casey?
I think it was good. I like Stanley. I'm coming back.
I agree. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, and like this video. Later.